The moment you stop being instantly available, something gets revealed. Not because you became cold, not because you started a fight, just because you made one quiet change. You stopped treating every buzz, every ping, every sudden need as an emergency you must solve. Most people think boundaries look like big speeches. They picture a long message, a confrontation, a door slam. But a lot of real boundaries look like a setting on a phone, a pause before replying, a choice to finish your meal before you answer. The outside is small. The inside is enormous. Here is the strange part. When you put your life back in the center of your own day, you might notice that some connections get calmer and some get tense. Some people adapt. Some people get louder. Some people get sweet in a way that feels tight. And some people panic, not because you harmed them, but because access used to be the invisible glue of the relationship. Picture a normal evening. You have done what you needed to do. You finally sit down, shoulders dropping, and you tap, "Do not disturb." No drama, no announcement, just a choice. The room gets quieter. Your mind does not have to sprint every time light flashes on your screen. 10 minutes later, you feel the urge to check anyway. Not because the message matters, but because your body learned that checking is safety. So you watch that urge like you would watch a wave. It rises. It tries to pull you. It says, "Answer now, or you will lose something." You breathe once, and you let the wave pass without obeying it. Not every discomfort is manipulation. Sometimes it's difference, noise, timing, or lack of skill. Awareness is clarity, not paranoia. People have different communication habits, different stress loads, and different ways of regulating emotion. The point is not to accuse. The point is to notice what your system learns from each pattern. Now, if you have ever set a simple limit and watched someone react like you committed a crime, you already know the theme of this video. When you remove quick access, you do not just change the schedule, you change the power dynamic that was quietly running in the background. This is why Do Not Disturb is not only a phone setting, it is a mirror. It shows you who respects your time, who can tolerate a delayed response, who can soothe themselves without needing you to perform calm for them. And it shows you who is attached to control, even if they call it closeness. Let's talk about what panic can look like, because it is rarely honest panic. It often arrives wearing familiar masks. One mask is guilt. "Wow, okay, I guess you're too busy for me now." Another mask is concern. "Are you okay?" You usually answer faster. Another mask is sweetness. "Just checking on you, I miss you." And sometimes it arrives as irritation. You're acting different. On the surface, these lines sound normal. People do miss each other. People do worry. People do feel hurt. The difference is in the timing and the tone. If the reaction shows up right after you set a limit, and it feels designed to pull you back into immediate compliance, that is worth paying attention to. A helpful question is simple. Does their message make space for your humanity, or does it make you responsible for their comfort? Because there is a kind of closeness that says, "I want to hear from you when you can." And there is a kind of closeness that says, "Prove you care by being available on demand." Here is micro-story 1. You are at work and your phone vibrates. It is a friend who often calls without warning. You see the name, you feel the tug, and you do what you usually do. You step away, you pick up, you apologize for being busy, you make space. But this time, you do something else. You let it ring. You send a short reply later. "In a meeting. I'll call you tonight." That is it. That is the boundary. And then the response comes, fast and sharp. Wow. You can't even answer for 2 seconds. Notice the hidden demand. It is not about 2 seconds. It is about the expectation that you should interrupt your life to prove loyalty. If you have lived in that expectation long enough, your body might react before your mind has words. You might feel a drop in your stomach, a rush of heat, a need to fix it. You might start writing an explanation like you are in court. That is a learned reflex. That reflex is not you being weak. It is you being trained over time that peace only returns when you rush to repair. So the first mechanism is training through speed. When someone treats fast replies as proof of care, your body can learn a link. A delayed response starts to feel unsafe. In cases where a relationship is coercive or emotionally abusive, that link can be strengthened by punishment, like coldness, sarcasm, withdrawal, or threats. In more ordinary situations, it might be strengthened by habits and insecurity. Either way, the effect is similar. You lose the right to your own pacing. The second mechanism is narrative flipping. When you slow down, some people rewrite the story to protect their ego. You were so supportive until you needed rest. You were easy to talk to until you said not tonight. The label changes, not because you became a different person, but because their access changed. This is where many people get confused. They think, maybe I am selfish, maybe I am rude, maybe I should not have done that. But the truth can be simpler. You are watching how someone relates to you. Are they relating to your personhood or to your function? Function is what you provide. Attention, reassurance, quick comfort, free therapy, endless listening, constant availability. Personhood is who you are, a human with limits, moods, work, sleep, and a life that does not revolve around answering. When you turn on Do Not Disturb, you stop being a vending machine. You stop delivering comfort on demand, and a person who depended on that function might feel threatened, even if they did not say it out loud. Micro Story 2. It is late. You are finally under the blanket. Your phone lights up with a long paragraph from someone you care about. It begins with, "I need to talk right now." Your chest tightens, because you know what right now usually means. It means you will be up until 2 a.m., helping them process a crisis that has happened many times before. It means you will wake up exhausted and resentful, and then you will feel guilty for resenting. You read the message once, you breathe, you type, "I hear you, I'm going to sleep. I can talk tomorrow after 6. You expect a simple, "Okay." You would even understand a, "I'm disappointed," but instead you get, "Fine, I guess I'll deal with it alone." That sentence is not a description, it is a lever. It is designed to turn your empathy into compliance. Again, do not rush to label the person. Some people say lines like that because they do not know how to self-soothe. Some people say it because they are flooded and scared. And in cases where someone uses emotional pressure as a pattern, the line is a tool. What matters is what happens next. Do they calm down and respect the boundary? Do they repair later? Or do they escalate, punish, or keep testing? Now let's name what panic often is. Panic can be your body reacting to a sense of lost control. It can show up as anger, guilt trips, urgent apologies, dramatic sadness, a sudden burst of intense affection, or a flurry of messages. It can also show up as silence, a cold quiet that tries to teach you a lesson. Silence can look mature on the outside, but it can function like punishment on the inside. If someone withdraws warmth immediately after you say no, your brain starts negotiating. You replay your words. You wonder if you were too harsh. You consider undoing the boundary just to restore normal. This is why the Do Not Disturb experiment is so powerful. It gives you a clean test. You do not have to argue. You do not have to explain. You simply watch how someone handles the fact that you are not instantly reachable. There is another layer to the test that many people miss: the pattern of intermittent reward. If someone sometimes praises you for being there, sometimes withdraws when you are not, and sometimes returns with warmth once you comply, your brain can get hooked. It is the same way a slot machine keeps attention. You do not know when the reward is coming, so you keep feeding the machine. In relationships, that can look like you replying fast just to earn the return of affection. You might notice it in small sequences. You delay a reply, they go cold. You apologize and respond faster next time, they soften. You start connecting your behavior to their mood, and without realizing it, you begin managing them. If you have felt that loop, it can help to name it plainly. I am not here to gamble with my peace. Here is micro story 3. You are in a group chat with friends. Someone drops a casual question, and you do not answer right away because you are driving, cooking, or simply present with your family. An hour later, you see a message from one person that reads, so we're ignoring now. The whole group can feel that tension instantly. It pressures you to perform, not only for them, but for the audience. If you reply in a rush, you teach the group that sarcasm works. If you reply calmly later, you teach the group that your life sets the pace. A simple response can be, "Not ignoring, I was busy, what's going on?" Short, factual, and not defensive. If they keep pushing, you can add one line of structure. "I'm not on my phone all the time." That line is not an excuse. It is a boundary in plain clothes. And here is micro-story 4, for the people who work in environments where access is treated like loyalty. A coworker or manager messages after hours with a task that can wait. You see it at 9:40 p.m. Your body wants to respond because you fear being seen as careless. You choose to wait until morning, then reply, "Got it. I'll handle this first thing today." If the reaction is anger or passive aggression, you just learned something about the culture. If the reaction is normal, you just freed yourself from an expectation you did not agree to. This introduces a new mechanism: social penalty. In some groups, boundaries get treated like disrespect because the group has normalized overreach. When you step out of that normalization, people may try to pull you back with teasing, guilt, or rank. The question is not, how do I avoid their reaction? The question is, what kind of life do I build if I keep paying that penalty? So, add one more choice point to your practice. When you feel the urge to justify, try choosing silence over explanation. Not silence as punishment, but silence as restraint. You can let your boundary stand without decorating it with a story. That is how you stop negotiating against yourself. Let's slow down and look at the signs that you are dealing with respect, not control. Respect sounds like, "No worries, talk when you can." It sounds like, "Okay, I hope your meeting goes well." It sounds like, "Thanks for letting me know." Respect does not punish you for having a life. Respect might feel disappointment, but it does not weaponize it. Control, in contrast, often makes you feel responsible for regulating the other person. You feel like you must reply fast to prevent their mood. You feel like you must be careful with your wording to avoid their reaction. You feel like your time belongs to them, and your peace is a privilege they can revoke. If you recognize that feeling, do not shame yourself. Many kind people develop this pattern because they were rewarded for being easy, helpful, and emotionally available. They learned to earn safety by being needed. They learned that love is something you manage, not something you receive. So here is a gentle turning point. Your availability is not your worth. Your speed is not your love. Your constant response is not your loyalty. You can care about someone and still protect your sleep, your focus, and your energy. Now, a lot of people ask, how do I do this without becoming cold? The answer is not to disappear. The answer is to become clear. Clarity is warmth with structure. It is kindness with edges. It is being honest about what you can give and then giving it consistently. This is where a simple practice helps. Try a 2-sentence boundary. Sentence 1 is empathy. Sentence 2 is a limit. I get that you're stressed. I can talk tomorrow after work. I care about this. I'm not available tonight. I'm glad you reached out. I can't reply right away, but I'll get back to you. Notice what this does. It removes the loophole. There is no long explanation to argue with. There is no apology that invites them to negotiate. It is calm, direct, and humane. Some people will adjust quickly. They will appreciate the clarity because it reduces confusion. Other people will test you, not because they are evil, but because they are used to you bending. Testing is how a system checks whether the old rules still apply. So if you set a boundary and the person reacts, do not treat the reaction as proof you were wrong. Treat it as data. The reaction is information about what they expect from you. Here is a third mechanism, the emergency lens. Some people communicate as if everything is urgent. Their problems are urgent. Their feelings are urgent. Their requests are urgent. If you respond slowly, they interpret it as rejection. That lens can come from anxiety, trauma, or learned drama. In cases where someone has experienced abandonment, a delay can trigger real fear. In cases where someone uses urgency to stay central, urgency becomes strategy. Either way, your job is not to absorb their urgency as your command. Instead, you can name the timing without becoming cruel. I saw your message. I can't talk right now. I will respond later. This reminds both of you that you are a person, not a hotline. Now let's talk about the internal work, because turning on Do Not Disturb is easy. The hard part is tolerating what it triggers in you. If you are used to being available, the first night you set limits can feel physically uncomfortable. You might feel restless. You might feel guilt. You might feel like you are doing something wrong. That is a withdrawal symptom from a pattern. Your system is used to the hit of relief that comes from responding and fixing, so build a small ritual to support yourself. When you turn on Do Not Disturb, do something that signals safety to your body. Make tea, stretch your neck, put your phone in another room, light a candle, play calm music. The ritual is not superstition. It is your body learning a new message. We are safe even when we are not performing. And while you do that, listen to the story your mind tells. It might say, "They will hate me." It might say, "I am being selfish." It might say, "I am going to lose them." Those are old stories. You do not have to fight them. You can respond like a friend. I hear you. We're still allowed to rest. This is where spirituality can be practical. Spirituality, at its healthiest, is not escaping life. It is seeing life clearly. It is noticing attachment, noticing fear, noticing where you hand your power away, and returning gently to your center. A boundary is not a wall. It is an act of alignment. It is you saying, "My life has a rhythm, and I want my relationships to honor that rhythm." Now let's talk about the kinds of people who panic first. There are a few patterns, and they can overlap. One is the person who relies on you for constant regulation. They use you as their emotional stabilizer. When you are available, they feel calm. When you are not, they feel exposed. They might not have built inner tools, so they reach for you like a switch. When you stop being the switch, they feel like the lights went out. Another is the person who equates access with intimacy. They think closeness means constant contact. They may have grown up with love that was unpredictable, so they try to secure love by keeping it near. If you step back, their fear speaks. In healthier relationships, that fear can be discussed and soothed without demands. In less healthy dynamics, that fear becomes control. Another pattern is the person who is used to being the main character. They are not necessarily cruel. They simply have not learned to share the stage. Your Do Not Disturb feels like you are leaving the audience. They might pull out drama to get you back. And then there is the person who benefits from your availability in a practical way. They like that you help with errands, decisions, problems, money, or support. When you slow down, they lose a convenience. Their panic is not emotional. It is logistical. They might suddenly accuse you of changing because they do not want to adjust their expectations. None of these patterns mean you must cut someone off immediately. They mean you should get curious. What does this person do when my needs exist? What do they do when I am not easy? Because here is a key truth. The measure of a relationship is not how it feels when you give everything. The measure is how it behaves when you give something that protects you. Now, there is a trap here, especially for sensitive people. You might turn boundaries into a secret test, hoping to catch someone failing. That can lead to cynicism. This is why the calibration matters. Awareness is clarity, not paranoia. The goal is not to catch villains. The goal is to understand patterns, including your own, so you can choose wisely. So here is a clean way to use this experiment. Choose a small boundary that supports your health. Turn on Do Not Disturb for a few hours each evening. Decide ahead of time that you will reply later. Not because you want to punish anyone, but because you want your evening back. Then watch what happens without feeding the drama. If someone reacts with anxiety, you can respond with reassurance and structure. "I'm okay. I'm just offline at night. I'll reply in the morning." If they respond with guilt or sarcasm, you can name it gently. I'm not ignoring you. I'm resting. We can talk tomorrow. If they keep escalating, you can tighten the boundary. I'm not available to argue about my response time. Notice how each level gives them a chance to meet you. You are not attacking. You are offering a healthier rhythm. Their response will show whether they can move with you. Now let's talk about something deeper. The way your own identity can be hooked into access. Many people confuse being needed with being loved. Needed feels intense. Loved feels steady. Needed makes you feel important right now. Loved makes you feel valued even when you are quiet. If you grew up in a house where love came with tension, you might chase intensity because it feels familiar. A person who panics when you are unavailable can feel like proof you matter. Their urgency can feel like desire. Their jealousy can feel like devotion. That is a common confusion, and it can cost you peace. Real devotion includes respect. It includes trust. It includes a willingness to let you breathe. So when you see someone panic, check your own reaction. Do you feel guilty? Do you feel powerful? Do you feel scared? Do you feel tempted to soothe them quickly so you can feel okay? That is your inner work. Here is a choice point. When someone pushes for instant access, you can choose one of two paths. Path 1 is the old path. You reply immediately, you over-explain, you smooth it over, you fix their mood. The relationship returns to normal, and your body learns that your peace depends on compliance. Path 2 is the new path. You reply when you said you would, you keep it short, you stay kind, and you let their feelings be theirs. This path can feel uncomfortable at first, but it teaches your system a new truth. I can tolerate tension without abandoning myself. Another choice point happens in your body. When you see their guilt message, you might feel a jolt, like you should defend yourself. Instead, you can pause, feel your feet, relax your jaw. Ask yourself, what would I say if I trusted my right to rest? Then answer from that place. This is how do not disturb becomes spiritual practice. It is the practice of not being yanked around by other people's urgency and by your own fear of displeasing. Now, some people worry, what if I miss something important? That is a real concern. Boundaries should not be reckless. You can create exceptions for real emergencies. You can allow calls from family. You can set a rule. Text twice if it is urgent. The point is not to disappear. The point is to stop living in constant readiness. And here is another mechanism: the false emergency. Oh, in some relationships, urgency is used to bypass consent. If everything is urgent, you do not get to choose. If everything is urgent, you are constantly reacting. That is exhausting. So you can name urgency calmly. That sounds stressful. I can help tomorrow. If they insist it must be now, you can ask a practical question. What will change if we wait until tomorrow? This often reveals whether it is truly urgent or simply uncomfortable to wait. Now let's talk about the social story you might face when you start doing this. When you pull back, some people might say you changed. They might say you are distant. They might gossip. That can hurt. It can also tempt you to return to old habits just to protect your image. But the truth is, your image cannot be your prison. If someone's version of you only works when you overextend, that version was not your responsibility to maintain. This is where inner growth gets real. You begin to live from your values, not from other people's reactions. You begin to accept that you can be misunderstood and still be aligned. Let's add another micro story. You are with friends on a weekend. People are laughing, food on the table, sunlight coming in. You decide you will not check your phone for an hour. You want to be present. You want to taste your life. When you check later, you see 3 missed messages from someone you date. Hey, you there? Hello? And then, okay, I see how it is. That last line can hook you. It tries to turn your presence into a crime. It tries to make you apologize for living. In that moment, you have power. Not power over them, power over your choices. You can reply with clarity. I was with friends. I'm back now. What's up? If they escalate, you can name your boundary. I don't stay glued to my phone. We can talk when we're both free. If the person responds with respect, you just upgraded the relationship. If they respond with punishment, you just got clarity sooner rather than later. This is another key point. Boundaries do not create problems. They reveal them. They bring hidden expectations to the surface where you can finally see them. Now, what if you realize you have been the one who panics? That is an uncomfortable but important insight. Maybe you have sent the hello message. Maybe you have interpreted delays as rejection. Maybe you have felt abandoned when someone was simply busy. If that is you, do not shame yourself. Panic often comes from fear, not from malice. You can learn new skills. You can learn to self-soothe. You can learn to ask directly for reassurance instead of testing. A healthy message sounds like, "I haven't heard from you and I'm feeling a bit anxious. Are we okay?" That is vulnerable and honest. It invites connection without demand. You can also build your own do not disturb practice, not to control others, but to strengthen your inner stability. When you know you can sit with uncertainty, you stop needing constant proof of love. This is what emotional maturity looks like. It is not being numb. It is being able to feel and still choose. Now let's talk about integration. How do you make this a lifestyle, not a one-night experiment? Start with small windows. An hour in the evening, 2 hours during deep work, a full night once a week. Keep it consistent enough that people learn your rhythm. Then, communicate your rhythm proactively with the people who matter. I'm offline after 9. If it's urgent, call. I check messages at lunch and after work. I'm slow to reply on weekends because I rest. Some people will be grateful. Some will need time to adjust. Some will resist. Each response teaches you something. And when you feel the old guilt, return to the core principle. A relationship that requires you to abandon yourself to keep it calm is not asking for love. It is asking for a performance. Here is another practical tool. Replace apologies with thanks. Instead of, "Sorry I'm late," try "Thanks for your patience." Instead of, "Sorry I didn't answer," try, "Thanks for understanding. I was resting." This subtly shifts the frame. You are not begging for forgiveness for having a life. You are acknowledging a normal delay. Now let's talk about boundaries with family, because that is often where the panic is strongest. If you grew up as the peacemaker, the responsible one, the emotional caretaker, your family system might expect instant access. A missed call can trigger guilt in you, because guilt was used to keep you in your role. So you can start gently. I can't talk during work hours. I will call you on Sunday. I'm taking a quiet night. And then you hold it. Holding is the hard part. You might hear, "You think you're too good for us," or "You're so distant lately." These lines can sting because they touch old wounds, but you can respond without entering the old fight. "I love you. I'm just busy. I'll call you tomorrow." If the pattern continues, you can add firmness. "I'm not available to be criticized for not answering instantly." Firmness is not cruelty. It is protection. Now let's address the fear that boundaries will make you lonely. Sometimes when you stop overgiving, you do lose certain connections. People who only stayed because you were endlessly accessible might fade. That can feel sad. It can also be freeing. It makes room for connections that are built on mutual care. Loneliness is not only about being alone, it is also about being in relationships where you are not seen. And constant access can create that kind of loneliness, because you are constantly available but not truly met. So if you experience a quiet period after setting boundaries, treat it as a detox. Let it show you what you were sustaining with effort. Let it make space for something steadier. Now, I want to bring in one more layer, the spiritual layer that people often miss. When you stop being instantly reachable, you face yourself. You face silence. You face the part of you that used noise and contact to avoid feeling. Do not disturb can become a doorway into your inner life. In the quiet, you might notice grief you have been outrunning. You might notice anger you have been swallowing. You might notice a tiredness that has been begging for respect. That is why the boundary is not only relational, it is personal. It is you turning toward your own soul, toward your own needs, toward the life you are here to live. So if you want to do this in a way that transforms you, try this. The next time you turn on Do Not Disturb, sit for 2 minutes and ask yourself one question. What do I need right now that I usually postpone? Maybe it is sleep. Maybe it is a walk. Maybe it is a shower without rushing. Maybe it is a journal page. Maybe it is a prayer. Maybe it is simply breathing without being watched. Then give yourself that need, even if it is small. That is self-respect in action. Now let's talk about what to do when someone truly matters to you, and they still panic. Because not every panic means you should leave. Sometimes it means the relationship needs a new conversation. Choose a calm moment, not during the reaction. Say something like, "I care about you. I'm also building healthier boundaries with my phone. When you send guilt messages about my response time, I feel pressured. I want us to have a rhythm that feels good for both of us." Then listen. A person who can grow will usually respond with curiosity or willingness. They might say, "I didn't realize I was doing that." They might admit fear. They might propose a plan. That is promising. A person who cannot tolerate boundaries might dismiss you, mock you, or turn the conversation into your fault. That is also information. You do not need to win the conversation. You need to see whether respect is possible. Now, I want to address one more subtle thing. The part of you that might enjoy watching people panic. That part can appear when you have been powerless for a long time. When you finally set a boundary, seeing someone scramble can feel like justice. Be honest with yourself without shame, then choose maturity. The goal is not revenge. The goal is alignment. If someone panics, you do not need to punish them. You simply hold your limit and stay clear. Clarity is a quiet power. It does not need drama. It does not need to prove anything. It simply stands. So here is the core lesson of this title. When you turn on Do Not Disturb, you are not only changing your phone, you are changing your relationship to urgency. You are telling the world and your own body that you are allowed to have a life that is not constantly interrupted. And when someone panics first, you are seeing the rules they were living by. You are seeing whether they can love you as a whole person or whether they loved the access. If you take nothing else from this, take this. Your peace is a signal. Protecting it will reveal who supports you and who resists you. And whichever truth you find, it gives you something precious. It gives you clarity. Tonight, even consists just for 1 hour. Try the experiment. Turn on Do Not Disturb. Let the world wait. Let your heart settle. And watch what rises in them and in you. Then choose the path that respects your life, because your life is the place your soul learns to breathe.